Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Reviews Edition. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friend. I'm gonna start with the guy in the red shirt and the pink headset. Daddy CHUBAX, how are ya?
What's up? Finally, we're back after another hiatus, but excited to be here.
Quick little break. Our other co-host in this show, our other friend from the West Coast, waking up at an ungodly hour to join us. Weekend mornings to record. Arnie, how are you?
Well, life gets in the way. I haven't slept. I worked last night, so let's get this party going.
Party
Yeah,
going.
we all have not slept. That's the life of an adult. Anyway, if this is your first time watching and viewing our show, thank you very much. We are Plus 63 HP. We have a stable of podcasts in which on Mondays and Tuesdays, typically we'll drop a review, a deep dive of a show, a series, or movie. In this particular episode, we have been discussing Ahsoka for the past couple of weeks. Because of our hiatus, we weren't able to discuss the finale. So this episode, we're going to discuss episode 8 of Ahsoka season 1, the finale. We also have a D&D show that drops every Wednesday. A bunch of middle-aged guys playing their first D&D campaign, recorded it for posterity. Now we're sharing it to you guys so you can join the adventure. Typically that drops on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we have our React show where we curate a list of videos, trailers, clips, snippets, featurettes, anything with content that's dropping soon. And we will gauge how hyped we are for those particular content and whether we're going to watch it day of, wait for it on streaming, etc., etc. And on Fridays, CHUBAX and our other bestest best friend, RJ, cannot get enough of D&D, so they have a second campaign where they're bad guys, and that typically drops on Fridays. But when you jump into plus www.youtube.com/plus63hp, you will always find new and fresh content there every so often. So please subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. And without further ado, um, we are going to be discussing the finale of, a fairly successful Star Wars show, one of the more recent successes that the Disney Plus platform has for us, Ahsoka. Before we get into the synopsis, before we get into the deep dives, just initial reaction on the finale as well as the season in general. I'll start with you, Chubax.
Oh, I love the ending. Everything was there. Very very thankful that they didn't beat Thrawn, so
Mm.
we got more Thrawn in the coming, and that's my main point that I needed. Uh, but I don't know, but still like bittersweet with Sabine making the right decision to stay with Ahsoka. But in the end, she just undid everything that Ezra did. That's everything she just did the swap, and I know there's gonna be like a reason, destiny that Ahsoka and Sabine have to be, especially with all those the father, the mother, daughter of the force thingy, which I'm not that familiar with, but still kind of sucks that everything he did and then he just swapped it out and they're not even together, so that sucks. But yeah, I'm happy, excited to see where everything goes, and do you, well, we'll discuss the ending later, but yeah, so that's me.
Arnie,
Oh, you're on mute.
you're on mute.
Sorry, I was eating. I would just like to say that, yeah, I'm with CHUBAX. I'm glad that Thrawn got this main goal achieved. Um, of course, when you read comments online, of course, people who think they could write better stories think,
Yeah.
oh, Thrawn sucked. He kept losing. Like, no, he used his resources wisely to achieve his main goal. That's
Mhm.
to get away. I'm actually surprised how Sabine and Ahsoka got stranded, and then Ezra was able to return with Thrawn. So basically the swap, right? That
Yeah.
Chubax was talking about. Uh, but in the long run, especially, I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see more Balin, considering it's basically Ray Stevenson's last scene uh, ever. I kind of wish that he had some speaking lines there, but from what it was teased, we have the father, the daughter, the son, and which looks like it's going to be the mom, what Daniel spoke about a few weeks ago. So that's going to be interesting, especially with Ahsoka in the same planet. Yeah, I mean, the only main disappointment for me is no Zeb or Ellis,
Mhm.
because we didn't get the whole Rebel crew. Each one was basically represented except for Zeb. So, but there's season
Too
two.
much CGI budget
I guess they spent the CGI budget
on the fights.
on the fight scenes and the witches of Dathomir and all that. Um, I'm a bit disappointed that we lost Elspeth. Because we rarely get a Filipino
Well, yeah,
representation in Star Wars, but at least
the sacrifice. Yeah.
she died like a Mandalorian in
Mhm.
battle, so that's good. But yeah, overall, I was satisfied. And then of course that last Anakin Force Ghost, I'm like, oh, there
Ooh,
you go.
it,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's fun.
I generally enjoyed this. Like, I actually thought that this was a stronger season finale compared to all of the season finales that we've seen, both in Marvel and Star Wars, the past, year or so. Maybe
Oh,
the only
I really dug the Mando season finale.
the Mando for me was like a little flat. I mean, Andor, of course, was great, but this was like one of the best for me personally. But as in preparation for recording every week with you guys, I listened to all of these review shows about all of these like fandom nerddom stuff, and I was surprised that quite a lot of them was not satisfied with this ending, and it's mostly because they didn't see enough of Balin. That's true. Mostly it's because you're right, they just swapped. But I think it's because when we were discussing it, we were hoping for an Empire Strikes Back kind of ending, right? We wanted. I mean, I am the anti cliffhanger person in our group. I hate fucking cliffhangers, but this was one of those series when you can't elevate Thrawn to a level without you know cutting down to size the good guys. So basically the protagonist. So the way that you make sure that Thrawn isn't wimpy is you make him escape. And then you can't make him escape with like Ahsoka and in tow. So I wasn't, of course, like it's not still the best, not the top ending. It's not my favorite way to kind of end the season where uh yeah, you're right. You just swap one guy for two, right? You lose two people, gain back one. That's kind of like a weird, scenario. But all in all, there was action, a lot of action. Everybody was fairly represented. Of course, Balin. I think they were reserving Balin to be a bigger character in season two. So they opted to sacrifice that. Like you had one quick scene of Balin looking out in the mountains. You have one quick scene of Shin taking over the bandits, but that was it because I feel that that was going to be a huge part of next season. So it's unfortunate that we lost Ray Stevenson, but the one thing that I'm looking forward to is like they already have like the premier replacement
Are we
for
gonna are we gonna do another fun
Ray.
casting with Ahsoka and Rosario and now with Balin and
It's quite perfect. Like height,
Oh, who?
Leave
Leave
Schreiber?
Schreiber.
Oh, Leaf Schreiber. Oh,
They
okay.
Like
already
I actually thought it was Leave Schreiber the first time. So
they already
I
did
think they have an open.
some pictures like Photoshop. It's like
Mm.
they did. It looks the same.
It looks the same. Just put the beard on and you're good. But either way, I was happy. Again, it's not going to be the perfect season finale, but I expected that because I wanted a second season.
Mhm.
I expected some form of like, you know, a quote unquote loss by Ahsoka. I didn't quite expect, them just trading places, like, Ahsoka and what's her name? Fucking
Sabine.
uh
Ezra or
as
Sabine.
no no no
Sabine.
Sabine staying and then Ezra leaving. I also, of course, had a little weakness on the Sabine storyline where like she never really um made up for her dumb dumbness. But it was good. Like it's more of Ahsoka owning up to supporting her Padawan no matter what.
Yeah.
So I like that theme. It's a little messy, but all in all, lots of action. Everybody was represented. Thrawn looked cool. Ahsoka looked
Yeah.
badass. Sabine with the saber and the blaster, badass.
Yeah.
Ezra making a new lightsaber, badass. Like
Yeah.
all of this was like really fun, entertaining story. Could it have been elevated? Of course, but compared to, I mean, the last Mandalorian ending was for me compared to Book of Boba Fett. Like
Mm.
this is a mark improvement, and again, I'm
Yeah.
so excited for the next one. So,
Yeah.
without further ado, Arnie, drop us the synopsis, and then we'll give to our thoughts, and then we'll give our final ratings about Ahsoka, Episode 8 and Season 1.
Well, unless you've been living at Peridea, you've probably seen the finale by now. So I'm just gonna go with the key points because you want to be quick about it. So as we mentioned, Thrawn's main goal is to escape. So when he was trying, he's almost done with loading all those caskets or the cargo. So all he had to do is to delay Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra. So with that, the Great Mothers, or basically the witches, basically uh, leveled up uh, Elsbeth. So she got new gear.
Yeah.
She became
Cool sword.
a cool sword, and it's kind of like it's kind of wushu sword, right? Like in real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which perfectly fits Diana Lee Inosanto. So she became like basically a full-fledged Night Sister, who is like the last obstacle that Ahsoka had to go through. And long story short, it worked. The uh, the night troopers did end up becoming zombies. I'm not quite sure if they were zombies to begin with, or when they died, they turned into zombies. But those death troopers definitely were zombies when they started. And then, of course, Sabine finally unlocked the
Not really zombies,
force
more
powers.
dead version.
Oh yeah, undead version. I mean, whatever zombie version is in Star Wars, right? And then, of course, Sabine was able to unlock her Jedi powers or Force powers. Of course, there's a lot of comments about that, but for me, hey, you know what?
Cool.
Cool. I mean, that means as long as I unlock my midichlorians, I could be a Force user. Like Jay and Silent
Well,
Bob. Silent Bob was able to do it.
if it wasn't gonna activate for the one you love, then not gonna activate at all.
Exactly. It's like if it's
Exactly.
better not have it.
Yeah. So just be a Mandalorian then, right? But so yeah, and of course, Thrawn was able to get away, but not before Ezra was able to stow away and be up to his old tricks of cosplaying as a stormtrooper. So he was able to basically steal Balin's shuttle and meet up with Hera. And let's see, and then of course, Ahsoka, Sabine, and Doctor Hu Yang are stayed with the turtle guys, the naughty, and
Can you imagine how Hera feels like? She got one son back and then lost
yeah,
another and a
It's like,
friend
but
to
yeah.
God
boot.
damn it.
Like I think
No,
it was
I mean,
a loss.
imagine Thrawn's reaction, like, oh, I defeated Anakin's apprentice. Oh, by the way, Anakin's son is here. Like, oh, what? So he's gonna be surprised. But yeah, Hera will probably have some mixed feelings about it. So maybe season 2 could focus on Hera's mission to retrieve Sabine and Ahsoka, or maybe the Purgle will just do it. But then again, we'll see. I mean,
I don't
I don't
think
want.
the next season will be Ahsoka and Hera finding them because it's just gonna be a repeat of season one.
Exactly. And the
So
thing is, I want that new galaxy to be explored. So,
yeah,
and plus,
I
yeah,
think the the I don't know. I think it's gonna be separate na. Like Ahsoka will be able to do her own shit without disrupting canon, and then we have
Yeah,
the world
yeah.
here.
And I think the Hera storyline will be joining the, maybe if they want to do the new Rangers of the Republic or something like that with Carson Teva, or maybe Hera is the Ranger, the new Ranger or something. So they could still make that show like a Rebels season 7, but this time no Sabine, no Ahsoka. Maybe we could get more Zeb, and of course Shin Hati. She took over the nomads, and then of course Balin. We saw him basically, kind of like Lord of the Rings, the Argonauts. Uh, but yeah, I mean, for people who are not in the know, the daughter, she died, and her spirit kind of like went into Ahsoka to save her life because Ahsoka was killed off by the sun, or corrupted by the sun. So it's interesting that the Morai Owl showed up too, and then that Balin is going to see if he could activate the Mortis God's power. Uh, Now I'm not sure if the mother will be included here, because apparently it's very, very dark, very, very scary. But hey, we'll see where it goes, and hopefully, yeah, if it's Liev Schreiber or somebody else, really hope that they recast Balin and not just, you know, kill him off screen or something like that. So
I
yeah,
think I mean it'll be a very bad decision to just, I know they want, people like this, they want to keep those characters, the original portrayers of
mm,
the actors to be respected, and
yeah,
like a Chadwick Boseman type, but
yeah,
this is such an amazing character that was
yeah,
well written, well done.
Somebody has to
uh
wear that armor again,
yeah. And the thing is with T'Challa, I mean,
like that. Oh,
it's different. It's yeah,
like, it doesn't change.
I
Looking at it, it's
yeah, T'Challa is different because you could have him have a son. The way they did it is I guess the best thing they could do,
yeah,
because
and
the
Balon
kids the
Balon
kids name is still T'Challa.
isn't a main character, so
Exactly, like he's a new character. There's no precedence on what he is, and to be quite frank, if I really wish they could just recast the original characters. I mean, I don't want a deep fake of Carrie Fisher. Like, I don't want a
I
deep fake
think I
of
think
Luke.
we're 5 to 10 years close enough to really have a different Leia Organa,
Yeah,
different Luke
yeah, they should just
Skywalker,
recast it.
smaller
They
supporting
shouldn't.
role instead of the
because
main ones.
because technically with Obi-Wan, I mean, and even Anakin, they've been replaced already. I mean, you don't see Alec Guinness with the exception of that one, the final
Mhm.
Kenobi mall scene. That's
Yeah.
basically Alec Guinness. But now, I mean, especially with Luke, especially when people want to have more stories about Luke, Leia, and Han, they really need to be recast.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as long as the writing is solid, it shouldn't matter. Or we just end up in animation, which is kind of like half measures, that. But yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, the final Force Ghost Anakin, because again, Anakin is a key figure in the Mortis Gods story arc and the Clone Wars, so he might even play. Uh, he might even get Hayden back in season 2, so that's perfectly fine too. But that's Ahsoka for you, and is one of my more favorite shows. Unfortunately, people who haven't seen the Rebels and Clone Wars, a lot of the details will be lost. I really recommend, if you have time, because we won't get another Star Wars until maybe January, just watch it. I mean, holidays is coming
I
up.
don't even know what's next. Is Skeleton Crew next,
I
or
think
what's
it's
next?
Skeleton Crew, and
I'm
I
waiting for
think
that acolyte thing.
The
and
Acolyte.
and
Yeah.
the, and the acolyte thing. And the thing is, yeah, a lot of people are requesting the Tales of the Jedi uh backstory for Balin, because he was a very interesting character as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
general in the war, so it means that he
yeah,
commanded a bunch of troopers there. So
yeah,
yeah, I think this was one of those things where, all right, a prequel kind of works or a midquel because it's in between movies.
Mhm.
So it kind of works. It is very tricky though, because now I haven't told Chubax this, but because the show was so good, like I really enjoyed Ahsoka, and I went upstate last week. That's why we had our little break,
Mm.
and that's a 4.5 hour drive. I started the Thrawn books because I really just want to get to
Ooh.
know the character, because I like smarty pants people, and I do like the idea of, I've never read a book where we know he's the bad guy,
Yeah.
but we're kind of making the bad guy the good guy in this particular trilogy that
Yeah.
I'm reading. So it's like,
Yeah.
or the protagonist. So I
Yeah.
I started reading that, and now I've read only the first book. I'm gonna read the second book maybe next week. Uh, there are characters there that I want to see in real life now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, who's this? Like Eli Vanto.
And
Like
that's
he gets,
Danny's favorite character.
yeah. So like that's dope. I want to see him now. So
Mm-hmm.
I want this Thrawn series to work well, and then I want them to do another prequel about the, to make the books into some form of a Disney series as well,
Yeah.
where we celebrate Thrawn instead of him a bad guy. But I want them to be both. I want him to be like a menacing villain that defeats a lot of wins a lot of battles in a very
Yeah.
very smart way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very interesting that I'm starting to kind of like not care about all of this timeline stuff as long as the thing is contained.
Yeah.
I'm pretty okay with it.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, I mean, in terms of the Mandoverse or the Filoniverse, yeah, I think it's Skeleton Crew and the Acolytes are the next ones. We still have that movie, basically is the crossover event. So we'll see where we at. Uh, Luckily, the writer's strike is done, so at least the scripts could be written, and we'll see what the actors will do. Yeah, anytime soon. So yeah, so that's basically Ahsoka.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we said a bunch, but I'll pass it back to you, Chubax. Final thoughts and your rating on Ahsoka. Things that you wanna, things that you enjoyed the most in this particular series, and things that you're going to be looking forward to the next season.
Yeah, I really I really enjoyed the series. Loved it. Even though I didn't watch a lot of Rebels, it's nice to see 3 to 4 lightsabers at once. You know, because it's so rare. It's always usually 1 to 2 max, and they're all, and even if it's two, it's against each other. So we don't see a lot of lightsabers together. So that scene against the zombies were great. Thrawn playing around was awesome. It's just like it was inevitable that he was gonna win. I think the gambit that he was playing was, what's the percentage of me getting out with minimal loss to my
Mhm.
supplies. You know, that was where his fight was. It wasn't against Ahsoka. It wasn't against Sabine or Ezra. It was just, how much can I sacrifice without losing too much to win I can back. So that was awesome,
Mhm.
and I'm happy that they didn't make him lose. And yeah, I'm excited. I hope we see more. Don't know what's the plan is. I know David Filoni has a movie.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if I'm gonna like that they bring everything together, including Ahsoka back there, because this could be his magnus opus. He can have that galaxy, and he can do everything that he wants, and he can even make it as fantastical as shit. And then this world, the other world, will be more like Andor, Mandalorian, Thrawn style,
Mhm.
even with the undead. But still, we're excited. I'll give it a 9.
All right. Cool. I too give it a 9. Like it's not a high 9 like the previous episodes, but the idea that they were able to juggle, because we were getting concerned about threads on the storyline that we
How they were
weren't gonna
gonna
hit.
finish it?
Right? It's like, are they ever going to discuss Sabine's fuck up? How he found, the reason why she found Ezra was hitching a ride with the ride of Thrawn going back to the main
Mhm.
galaxy. So I hope that gets discussed a little bit more. Which is, that's the thing that kind of like misses. I know they didn't have enough time, or you're dealing with a lot of stuff. You're not gonna sit down, discuss over campfire what had happened, like Sabine and Ezra, and you just want to enjoy the all the things that you can enjoy while you guys are together. So that was fun. But they have the action. I think the thing that I really enjoyed the most is not only that it is engaging, looks beautiful, looks great, but it made, it's part of the story. Like how Sabine, initially fought with blasters and stuck with the lightsaber, and then played with the lightsaber, and then lost still, and then now she was able to combine both. Not only was it functional, it looked good, but also part of her arc. Same with Ahsoka, like fighting with Balon and losing, trying to fight, single-handed versus single-handed, and then so that's not my style. I need to do my two-sword thingy, and that was fun. Like even with Ezra, everybody's fight style kind of made sense, including Thrawn. That's the fun thing about Thrawn is we they kind of showed how tactical he is, how much respect he was giving the Ahsoka.
If your players are the type to romance the big bad, give
so like
Sorry.
so like he was being respectful about his enemies. That makes him more of a very tactical leader. I wish we could see more of out.
I know.
He,
I hope they don't
more of
lose
like
it.
they put seeds and showing the respect, showing I want to research my enemy, I want to know everything about Ahsoka, etc., etc. Not assuming that she's dead, but also for the most part, he was very conservative with the troops, right? So put back up, put this. So I hope that they build on that. You don't want to blow your load in the first four, so I really enjoyed that. But
He
it's
took the
weird that
grandmothers, right?
Yeah.
He took the
They're
grandmothers.
back
home.
in. They went to Dathomir. Yeah.
So that was all of this, like even the witches were very respectful, and he was very respectful. I kind of like these main antagonists that are not dicks. Like they're respectful, they're cool. So this is a good start. I feel like a lot of people wanted a little bit more. I was just surprised with myself that I didn't want a lot more from the season. I was like, hey, I'm not expecting a lot from 8 episodes. So
Before you move to Arnie, I did really like that Ahsoka came in and kind of just moved on from Sabine's fuck up. Like, like she is like, one is like realizing that destiny maybe this stuff like that, but I think it's also more like, she did it. She's not gonna learn if I push her away and get mad at stuff like that. So let's just roll with it and go.
No,
and she was rewarded by her staying with her.
Yeah.
Sabine, so.
And let's be honest, Anakin would have done the same thing. For Pat.
And that was the. I mean, I even like the. I like
He
that
did
they
the same thing.
He did worse for Padme.
I like that they discussed it, but they didn't dive too deep into it. Like they had discussed it add-on, and Ahsoka said, my master would have supported me, no matter what, and I'm doing the same thing. Right, we're gonna support you no matter what. We're gonna figure this out. Yes, it could have been dealt better, but at least it was there. It's like, hey, we're here. Thrones back there, we're stuck here. We tried, we missed our ride, so we'll figure this out. So Shadows in the Clouds is gonna be great. So again, I'm giving it a 9. So Arnie, take us home.
Well, I'll give my rating first. I'm the big Star Wars fan, so it's a 10, easy 10 for me. Thrawn was amazing. It's a good contrast between him and Moff Gideon, because Moff Gideon, even though he is smart, but he's very overconfident, and that's what made him lose against Mando twice. Is his overconfidence. With Thrawn, like even with his limited resources, he played like 3D chess. Like, oh, I'll just give two starships. Oh, just one battalion. Oh, okay, Morgan, you leveled up, so let's do that. I'll let you sacrifice for Dathomir or something like that. So he's very calculating and never underestimated, especially after finding out that Ahsoka's Anakin's apprentice. So, because Moff Gideon will be like, "Oh, I don't care. Anakin Skywalker's dead." Blah blah blah, and whatever. So that's the difference between Moff and Thrawn. So I would like to see, now that Thrawn's back, that council that Moff Gideon had with in Mando season 3. So basically starting the first order, and maybe tie in Thrawn and maybe explain why Thrawn was not in the sequels. So we'll see that as well. But yeah,
He's gonna have to die at some point, right?
oh yeah, I mean,
So okay, so
or
maybe that's the movie. We do
either
second
that,
season
yeah,
and then the movie.
I'm even thinking they should recast. If they recast Luke, then they can have a whole new. We can get Mara Jade in. We can have him against Thrawn.
we
You
we
know,
could
like
still have the use and we could still have the use and Vong. We could
or
still have that.
we can even do
Yeah,
a similar thing to the books that John's reading, The Heir to the Empire,
yeah,
Yeah.
where
yeah,
Thrawn's
Empire.
taking over and Luke and Leia are back in action. Just
yeah.
Leia's
They
gone,
should
and I'm sure Luke wouldn't. Mark Hamill wouldn't mind.
they should just bite the bullet
Yeah,
and
just
Sebastian
recast it.
Stan,
Yeah.
Billy Lord.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing too. It's like whatever happens, they're gonna have to recast at some point. At some
Yeah.
point, they will be recasted unless they want to do fucking animated movies about all of this, right?
Yeah.
But we also have to admit, whoever the first recast of Luke, the first recast of Leia, even if it is Sebastian Stan, where we are
He
all
will suck.
rooting for, it's not gonna suck. It's like people will need an adjustment period
Yeah,
to
people will
have
compare.
these. It's the first time where
Yeah.
a franchise like this spanned 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
So there has never been a start where, holy shit, like it's no longer Harris, it's no
I mean,
longer fucking
well,
Mark
Doctor
Hamill.
Who has been doing it. James Bond has been doing it. I mean, every new James Bond, there's always some backlash. Like even Daniel Craig, which now became like
yeah.
one of
But
the
it was built to be, it was
yeah,
built as an anthology-esque. This is the
yeah,
new version where
yeah,
it's one story. It's just like, again, your people get old and it just happens. But yeah, I think, that's why I think it's gonna take 5 to 10 years, so that the first few ones, maybe, they'll start with some cameos and then an episode here or two and then
yeah,
full-blown movies. Might
yeah,
take a little bit
yeah.
to adjust, but they have to do it. They
And
have to.
who
If you
knows?
can recast Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, I think
Yeah,
you can
and,
recast Luke.
and who knows? Maybe the girl who played Leia in Kenobi and the boy who played Luke,
Are
maybe they'll
old
be
enough.
old enough to do it. So they might do it. Uh, and I mean, even with Han Solo, like with Alden, I mean, of course he's not Harrison Ford, but who is? I mean, even River Phoenix when he played the young Indiana Jones, it's a bit different than Harrison Ford's Indy. But yeah, eventually we really need to recast, especially if we want to touch the OG characters, because we have the perfect Lando already. Donald Glover is perfect Lando. Uh,
'Cause
so yeah.
I don't think you can defeat Thrawn without Luke coming in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, even with Ezra, like unless you are willing to substitute Luke, like Cal Kestis for Luke, because at least Cal Kestis is one of those new characters again, right? But then again, people will be like, "Oh, but where's Luke?"
Yeah, but where's Luke? Exactly.
Yeah, right. Because if Thrawn was the biggest threat to the galaxy, I mean, wouldn't it make sense for Luke to intervene, right? So yeah, so they really have to recast, and yeah, and we just have to bite the bullet, take the pill, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think this, if they keep on doing things like Ahsoka, where you're building a nice
Mhm.
base where people want to do these stories, and then
Yeah.
Star Wars will say like, hey, we want to do more stories, but come on, like Mark Hamill can't be, we can't deep fake Mark Hamill all the time. So
It's expensive. Plus, people still complain, and
Yeah,
but yeah, I
so
mean,
recast that sucker.
just recast it, and or just just kill off all the characters, but they can't because they were in the sequels.
yeah,
So
this is not like Marvel, where we've been hearing a lot about
multiverse.
Secret Life is going to be, well, there's a multiverse, so that's a cop out, but also
Mm,
the other idea is that Secret Wars will be a soft reboot,
Mm,
right? Because again, they understand if the canon gets too unwieldy, it's hard for newer people to jump
yeah,
in because
like
there's that
the
bag of so many things to like, oh shit, I didn't know this, I didn't know that, right? So
yeah,
that's what's gonna happen. So
yes. Secret Invasion dropped the ball there. They could have rebooted a lot of things in Secret Invasion.
oh, I mean I think the Secret Wars will be,
Yeah,
they have planned it out, that hasn't been successful, but
yeah, yeah.
anywho, is that it, Arnie?
That's pretty much it. I mean,
Well, those are our thoughts for season 1 of Ahsoka, particularly the last episode, episode 8. We are looking forward to season 2. And as a reminder, we still have this going on almost every week. Our next series that we will be discussing is Loki. First couple of episodes are out. We're gonna discuss the first batch of episodes with y'all. So if you wanna listen to how we share our experiences with these awesome new shows, please come along. Don't forget to subscribe to Plus 63 HP on YouTube. We are on all socials: Facebook, Instagram, and X/Twitter at +63 is our handle. And most importantly, if you don't want to watch us, if you just want to listen to us while you're working or doing your chores, we are on all your favorite podcasting apps of choice. Just search for +63 HP. We prefer Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Leave us a review, leave us some stars. So help us with the algorithm so we can grow this community of like-minded individuals that enjoy good content. So on behalf of CHUBAX and Arnie, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye bye.